Mikey and Rinne stay in. Oh yeah.
Ready? Hi guys, it's Mikey and Rinne stay in. I'm Mikey.
And I'm Rinne.
And this is episode number 13.
Ooh.
Ooh. God, you got that so much better. I can't make my voice box wiggle. Ooh, I can see that on the little sound waves on our recording thing. It looks awesome. It looks like a ribbed condom. Brrr.
Yeah.
Get it? Yeah.
I do. I haven't looked at a condom in years. So.
That's true. We are trying for a baby. So remember the fact that this show is about us. Well, originally it was about us having a pregnancy, you being pregnant.
Yep.
And then it's about us having a baby.
I do remember that.
I know. I just like to reinstate that every once in a while because sometimes I'm just I want to get back to the show where we just talk. And we can just talk. I can talk to you about anything.
Oh.
I know. I mean that in a cute way, but it's also we need to stay
Keep
more
it
focused.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because right now is second half of my cycle, so it's the big wait.
Yeah.
I think women that have, even women that haven't taken a long time to get pregnant, I'm sure that they've all had this sort of anticipatory, you ovulate, you bone a bunch, and then you're okay. So
Could be pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, it's wild.
Yeah.
Well, this is we were just at we'll talk more about the wedding that we're at later, but and one of the people, good friend, but didn't mean anything by it or whatever, was just oh yeah, your wife's pregnant now. And I was you guys are having a baby, and I was well, we're not. But I was oh, but actually, technically, she could be pregnant. She might be pregnant right now, because we're in that waiting phase.
Right.
No, she's not 6 months pregnant.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So because I'm in that luteal phase, so second half of the cycle, we talked a little bit about seed cycling last time.
Right.
And so we have a really special Eat Your Feelings snack.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
Tell us about it. It looks really awesome.
So for seed cycling, the second half of your cycle, you're focused on progesterone, and then you're also focused on liver detoxification, making sure that the liver can clear the hormones.
Right,
things like that. So sunflower seeds are a part of that second half of seed cycling. Sesame seeds are as well. So for those of you watching, I'm holding up a little bowl here with what would you call that?
I mean,
sunflower seed
toothpaste.
Toothpaste, yes.
No, I mean it looks like hummus or something. It's ranch dip sort of. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember now what I put in it. I literally just made it an hour ago. But sunflower seeds, sumac, lemon juice, green onions, red onions, water.
Looks awesome.
Yeah, salt. And so we have that, and then we have our very first little tomatoes of the year from our garden.
From our garden. God, they look awesome.
They're so...
Here, maybe I'll take pictures. We should take pictures of them or something and put them up on Instagrams.
Yeah,
you
definitely.
Keep talking about it. Oh yeah, give me your phone.
Yeah, take a photo. So yeah, we're just gonna kind of use it as a little dipper. But so essentially, when you're eating these seeds, it's best to get the raw version versus a roasted, salted, whatever. And these ones, I didn't soak it all or anything like that. I just kind of ground them into a paste before I put the rest of the ingredients in. And increasing when you grind them, it sort of increases their surface area. So you're just getting more of those yummy, beneficial oils.
Yeah, I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. So it's a really good way to eat these seeds. Smoothies, making them into pureeing them into a soup.
Yeah.
Doing a little toothpaste.
I know. That's really fun.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well,
so
and the whole point of this section of the show, the Eat Your Feelings, it used to be kind of where we were going to eat whatever the baby was that week when they judged the baby by its size by calling it a fruit or something. But now it's we're trying to make a baby, and just the Eat Your Feelings moment is what are we doing food-wise? Because both of us are in the food world. I'm a chef. Rinne is an acupuncturist, but also a nutritionist.
I'm not quite a nutritionist.
Integrative nutritionist.
Well, yeah.
So. I still tell people nutritionist. Sorry.
I did a health coaching certification, so you nutritionists out there know far more than I do.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
Oh.
My bad. She knows way more about nutrition than I do, so she's the nutritionist in the house, let's say. But I just think that there's so many ways that you can influence the, your health, your mental health, your, fertility, all those things by what you consume.
Sure.
Input, output, right? And I think that there's, a lot of people that don't feel that way. Like, they don't really think about it like, oh, I should be eating at this moment. Like, it's just like, oh, we shouldn't be drinking, or oh, we shouldn't that.
Right.
But there's so many things that you can do to, strengthen the sperm and get her body ready for all the things that it's about to go through. So I just think it's wonderful to talk about this. So eating your feelings, eating for optimal fertility, health, all those things. So. And
then our eating the feelings section sometimes becomes
wow,
I'm feeling like shit and I just need to eat my feelings.
No, that's fucking true. Yeah, I did. Well, ooh, yummy.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
How's our little tomato?
They're good. They're a little, mealy, but that's okay. I don't know. We're not, this is one thing, we're not.
Not our gift.
We're not green thumbs. Yeah. But, this weekend, so we went to a wedding, and I was the officiant at the wedding.
He did an amazing job.
Obviously.
If you need an officiant for hire,
I know.
I would call my chief.
Which I actually didn't know that was a thing. The DJ was like, dude, if you crush this, like, get your business cards ready because everybody's going to ask you to be an officiant. And just to put it out there, I loved being an officiant. It was so fun. I mean, for one thing, the friends, Ryan and Heather, hi guys, hope you listen to the show. But they told me, basically, they were like, we want it, no religious stuff in under 3 minutes. So my job was pretty easy, but I also wanted to pack a lot of things into the 3 minutes. And I think I got kind of a lot of sweet things. I got some kind of like heart-wrenching crying moments. I got a couple laughs. Yeah, but I started looking it up today, and like, you can make like a kind of decent money for being an officiant.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it was like, there were some places that were kind of lowballing it at like $250 or something like that, which I feel like is pretty low. Like, you're like having to meet with the people, write something, perform at their wedding. I'm like,
and most of the time it's not 3 minutes.
Yeah, and I'm like $250 for like a half hour of like handwritten shit that you've like probably put by them a couple times. No, but there was other people that were saying it's like $1,000 or whatever. I mean, it's kind of awesome. So I might legitimately like try to do it. I think it's so fun because I mean, it's like there's part of me that would love to be like a preacher, but I just don't.
Without the God.
I don't have the God part.
Right.
So,
right,
yeah.
right.
Or God doesn't have me. Jesus take the wheel.
Your soul hasn't been saved.
My soul's definitely not been saved. Yeah, I don't know.
What else is going on for you?
Well, it was, it was really great for me being home. So I'm from Colorado Springs. It's a place that at different times in my life I've felt like I really didn't want to be there when I was younger. Like when I was like around high school and college age. I got out, I felt like it was just like stifling or whatever. It just wasn't the place for me at the moment. But what's nice is I go back there now, and it's not that I necessarily want to live there. I could. This last round, I was like, it felt like a warm hug. It was like these old friends like I've known forever, and it's a really beautiful place. It's mountains and hiking and all those things. But more than anything, I felt like it was just a really comfortable place to be, and I loved being in it, And so this is actually like my pro tip, for the week. So we do, all of our sections. So one of our sections is pro tip, and it usually has to do with, from Rinne, it's something to do with health, wellness, kind of, it's something in her professional realm, and mine usually has to do with food. But mine this week, I think, has to do with, and it's something that I think you guys know on the show, I've kind of been echoing some things. I've kind of been like feeling a little bit, I don't know, just unsettled and kind of just like not knowing where like I want my feet to be placed and not knowing where I want my head to be at. And my thing lately has been, my pro tip this week is get out. And whatever that means, like I'm in this moment right now where I'm like, it's summer, Portland summers, Oregon summers are unbelievable. They're like the perfect temperature, it's sunny, it's just all the things. It's not too hot. It's not too humid, and so we don't really take big trips in the summer. We sometimes have, but I kind of don't want to anymore. Like, I like to be here and then travel when the weather's not so good.
Sure.
But I like the idea of getting out and like whatever that means to you. If that means like going on a vacation, great. But even if it means like we've been doing these day trips lately that have just been awesome. Like just we went to Hood River, we went to the coast. But even if it means just going and like making your dinner, and instead of eating it at your house in front of the TV or at the table, like go have a picnic in the park. Find a way to just like, I don't know, we've been talking about it, gratitude, reverence, like find a way to just take a moment to just calm it down.
Turn the volume down.
Turn the volume down a little bit. And I've been back home a couple times. My parents are not home, which is kind of weird, being in my parents' home without them. And but I've kind of been trying to take it as like a deep breath, mental reset moment, and just kind of like, I don't know, find the time to just be a little bit and get out of your way, get out of your head, get out of your routine. And I feel like for me lately, it's just been resetting me and kind of like helping me see where I need to be. And I definitely think that, I don't know, I'm someone who in my work life and in my personal life, I either have like 15% of things going on or I have 150% of things going on.
Right.
And right now I'm kind of in a bit of a 150% of things going on moment. Like I'm working a bunch of different jobs and I'm trying to do a bunch of different things, and it's great, and I'm kind of uncomfortable and comfortable in both of those zones. Like I like them both and dislike them both for a reason. But I do think that more and more in my life now I've been needing a place to just kind of like find some space, find some grace and space. And especially around making the baby and around thinking about being a father and all of those things, it's like I just want to find, I'm really trying to get myself to a place where I can find some kind of calm and find some just like true peace on some level, and and I think for me it's taken me kind of getting away a little bit,
Yeah, and I take your point too, because especially with trying to make a baby, getting pregnant, having a miscarriage, trying to make a baby again, your life can get really singularly focused very easily. And I never really considered that before we tried to start having a baby.
Yeah, totally.
And so I think that's just a really good advisement too. And it's easy to say we don't have another child, we don't have other children that we're...
Yeah, we don't have children now. I mean, then people have, like, who listen to the show have been telling me, like, the things you guys talk about are, like, the things that you're stressed about or whatever now, just wait till you have a kid. And
yeah,
like,
totally.
And I fucking appreciate that, because I know that we're, like, you're going to talk to us in a year when we've got, like, a 3-month-old, whatever, however all that math. I don't know. How long is gestation period? A horse is 16 months? I can't remember. No, but it's, and we're going to be like, oh my God, like things are way different now. But there's also a part of me that I feel like we're kind of better in a firestorm. Like we're kind of calmest when things are the most busy. Yeah. So like I kind of feel like having a baby on some level is it's going to focus us up. Like right now where it's kind of like this nebulous period, it drives me a little bonkers.
Well, and I there was one moment on the trip where we had just made breakfast. We were sitting outside at your parents' house. It was a beautiful day. Aubie was sitting in the sun very cutely. Yeah. We were at your parents' table, and it just we sort of basked in that moment. Yeah. It was really, I don't know, it was just really special. Yeah. And I used to, I think, pride myself on being really present. And I really do think that this past year and a half, I haven't been as much. I've been so much future thinking and beating myself up and feeling like, why didn't I do this earlier? And everybody told me to do it earlier. And so it's been either regretting the past or looking towards the future. And holy shitballs if we don't have like this really beautiful, glorious life that we can just eat breakfast outside on a beautiful day, and like take a breath.
Yeah.
And yeah. So I hear you.
Yeah. No, it's true, and I love you for saying that. And I know it's emotional. Like there's like, I think when we started this show, I was like, and my life has been a fucking fart joke. The whole it has been. And I mean that in like...
That's why you tell such a good one.
I know, and I mean that in like the most serious way, kind of. Like, I've just been kind of like, woo! Like, living on this fart joke lifestyle train for 38 years. Like, just kind of like nothing, like...
Hashtag living on the fart joke train.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. But like... How do I describe this in an intellect? How do I intellectualize something so stupid?
Well, you just said your life's a fart joke, so I don't think you're going to intellectualize.
But I think there is something at its core, and like I guess at its core, it's like maybe I haven't taken life seriously enough. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's true. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. When I lived in the mountains, I lived in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. I was like a ski bum for a while, and I was working, multiple jobs, and I wasn't making much money, but like. I had all these friends that like lived in the city and were like working these like real jobs or whatever, or like lawyer jobs or whatever, and they would always say to me, "Man, when are you going to get in the real world? When are you going to get in the real world?"
Right.
And I always would kind of laugh it off because I was like, "What's more real? I was in like the middle of the woods today skiing, right. And then I served people dinner.
Right.
I fed people, and." I don't know that there is a version of the real world that's true for everybody, but I've kind of lived in this place where I've been kind of like, I don't know, like, and I think it's why people like me, like why I have friends, because I'm kind of like able to be funny and able to be kind of lighthearted about things, and it's like, and yes, we've kind of, I think, spent the last year like focusing really hard on this stuff, and it has kind of like, it's pulled a little bit of the sheen off, and it's been kind of like, no, this is actually real. Like, this is kind of the stuff that you have to fucking deal with. And, I don't know. Long story short, it's like, right, we get it, There's some hard things that you have to go through in life. But I also think that the thing that I don't want to forget is that life can just be a fart joke sometimes. You can find the farts to joke about in life.
There's many.
There's so many. And you can find beauty in all the moments. Yeah. Like I was so fucking sad after the miscarriage. And yes, some people listening have probably been through things that are 1,000 times worse than the things we've been through. But this was the hardest thing I'd been through. But we found those moments together where we were out in the sun, or where we were eating a waffle. Or like watching the Great British Baking Show. Bake Off? I don't know what it's actually called. My favorite show on TV, but I don't know the name. I don't make memories. But, or like seeing Aubie and being like, she's so fucking cute. Yeah. Or whatever. Or like me wearing my cool rainbow fucking dachshund riding a unicorn riding a T-Rex shirt. That you guys have to see. It's the greatest shirt ever. But just find those places. And I think people do. But it's like, I think there is really, really something to that.
Yeah.
Find your sunshine. Find your little moments. Like, find the people that make you happy. And just decide to kind of sit there for a second and really, really taste it. Yeah, I like that.
I do too. I'm going to sort of piggyback my pro tip off of what you said. We don't ever actually. We kind of make some notes for ourselves, and then we don't discuss what we're going to... talk about with each other, and then sometimes we're like,
you're saying that this show is unplanned?
This show is a big fart joke.
No one listening thinks that this is just off the cuff. Fucking fine-tuned watch here. Yeah.
No, but my pro tip is actually to piggyback off of yours, because what I was going to say is, again, thinking about women's cycles. There's oftentimes very little honoring of where we're at in our cycle and what we have to do in life, right? So everyone, always has to be on, pretty much. And I think, especially women, and especially women that are we were just with a friend who has a really high up, vice president position in a hospital, And she was just talking about the sort of challenges of being a woman in an executive role. And but you do have to sort of show up in a particular way all the time, and oftentimes that means you look amazing, you are intelligent but not taking over the room. There's just a lot of qualifications. And actually for us, the way that our hormones sort of ebb and flow throughout the month doesn't really allow for us to do that naturally. And so, as your body sort of gets close to ovulation time, estrogen's on the rise, right? There is this sort of natural inclination to want to like be out in the world and want to be social, and then as that starts to drop off and you're into your luteal phase, and especially as you get closer to your period, can I get an amen from all my ladies? You don't want to be that, right? But there's no accounting for that, right? It's not like, okay, my hormones are shifting here, so I get to take a couple of days or whatever. And so, but I think that there are ways to honor that. So in the second half of your cycle, one way that I've been trying to do it is to think about my exercise in a different way. So I tend to be a person that just pushes through exercise as hard as I can. And since the miscarriage, I will say that's changed a lot.
Yeah, I know that's definitely true.
I'm listening a lot more to my body and trusting that it's giving me cues when it wants to work out hard and when it doesn't. And so
her nickname is Jack LaLanne in the house.
So just that one little shift, if you do exercise in the first half of your cycle, think more about the strength conditioning, if you go for runs, if you go for hikes, if you do kind of more of that intense cardio stuff. And then in the second half, a little more yoga, stretching, being a little bit gentler with yourself. And so, obviously you can't stop being a mom or stop being a partner, or stop having to really perform at your job. But this is sort of one way that I feel like I've been able to take control and really honor what my body's going through during those different times. And it feels really nice.
Yeah, I think that's a really, well, our culture just doesn't. So both of the companies that I'm working with right now there's female founders, and I've just been so shocked and horrified, as I always am, to hear the stories of like the things that they come up against for no other reason besides the fact that they're women. And it's just amazing to me. I don't know. It's constantly shocking about pay disparity, all the things. I mean, it's just wild how much women are not seen as equals in our culture. But there's also remember that episode of 99% Invisible?
You guys,
we'll put it
run,
up.
don't walk.
Yeah, we'll link to it. Basically, in a nutshell, the episode was about how design, but especially in safety, so like seatbelt design, car safety, things like that they never used women as like test dummy, like the test dummies were always men.
The crash test dummy is
I
think they said 50th percentile man, so let's say 160 pound,
right.
180 pound, or whatever it was, man,
yeah.
Not accounting for breasts,
right,
pelvic structure,
right, sure, yeah,
anything like that.
Yeah, and
still to date, they have not done any crash test with women as drivers. They started to do it with women as passengers.
In the passenger seat. Oh my
but
God.
I would argue it's women that are mostly driving, especially if they're moms and families.
Well, if we're talking about minivans or like things where it's like it could be a mom that's driving a family. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, and where was I going with that originally? Oh, but for one of the things, like we've talked about breastfeeding, and we've talked about how the work situations don't allow any space for women to breastfeed. But it's also like men's bodies. Like basically men, it's just go. You just go, you work. I mean, our culture says you work too hard or whatever, and the only like stress reliever that men have is, they go and drink, or they, go and punch each other, or they, they watch sports and scream, and it's whatever, and that's like that's male culture, and that's kind of like it's okay. But our like I think men maybe mental health wise we vary a little or whatever, but like I think we're pretty like men are pretty steady, but women have things that like their cycle and the things that happen every month where they change.
Internal ecosystem is totally
ecosystem
different.
Is so complex, so complex.
Yeah.
So complex that I don't understand even 1% of it. But just the idea that our culture, that I don't understand even 1% of it. And I'm a relatively woke man.
Right.
But that, like, we don't have anything to look out for. Like, what's the culture that has women, when they menstruate, they go to, like, the menstruation hut?
Yeah.
Not that that's a good thing.
Southeast Asia?
Could be.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, unclear about that.
Well, and
we don't even recognize it.
I hear your point though too, that it's a delicate balance, right? In that, thinking about like when Hillary Clinton was running for president, she does no longer menstruate, but still the conversation was like, oh man, where she gets her period?
Yeah, bleeding from somewhere.
I'm like, what? So the conversation has either been there, which is like. Women can't be CEOs because they menstruate.
Right.
Or as a woman, you just have to you have to not only achieve as well as men can, but you have to provide so much else.
Oh,
to the
yeah.
company.
Sure. And then also potentially be a mom and also,
sure. Yeah.
And I just don't know why we can't. I have my theories about male fragility and the fact that I think men understand on some level that they're not really necessary. Like maybe we were necessary back in like the days for kind of like you needed like a muscular whatever something dumb idiot to like beat off the people that are coming trying to steal your food or your kids or whatever. But now I think it's like we're kind of like, well fuck, I don't know, you need our sperm and like what, I don't know, maybe not much else. And I think it's why men fucking cling so much to power, and I love you. But like and cling to like CEO roles and take as much as they can and whatever, and and it sucks, but it's shocking to me about how much we can't just fucking see humans for humans.
Yeah.
And I don't mean this is like to be on some soapbox with swelling music in the background, but like between race and gender and all the things, that can't we just see it's like everybody's just a human, everybody's just trying to get by, people have a lot of different things going on in their lives, and like we recognize that women have a fuck ton of shit going on that men just don't. And we can also give men credit. Like men have things going on, and we sometimes think men, you just have to fucking stiff upper lip it or whatever. Like men can cry. I cried at the fucking wedding that I just did officiated for. I mean, like, can't people just be people? We can all be like all the different things, and can't we all just give each other a little more space and a little more ability to just fuck up a little or succeed a little more, or just open some more doors for people and just like let it be a meritocracy instead of having it be so defined by our predispositions about what gender is supposed to be and what people are supposed to be because of stereotypes. I don't know. Well, not very concise, but
yeah, we did get a little tangential.
I know. What do we got here?
I like it.
Yeah, I know. We're doing okay time-wise. Hope you guys are down.
What do you think? I have.
I have one more thing.
Yeah, and I do too. I have a little bindle.
Oh, I do too.
Pretty simple bindle, but
so our bindle is how we're saving money this week or whatever.
Yeah. This one is. I don't know. I don't know how to categorize it exactly, but I feel like I've been really trying to capitalize on this recently.
Oh, I like.
So I have a service that I provide. I understand that a lot of listeners might not have a job that they're providing a service, but there's something that you're really fucking dope at. And I have been using that thing that I'm really dope at to have somebody else give me something that they're really fucking dope at.
Oh, yeah.
One example is I did this cosmetic acupuncture training. It's really, like labor intensive, but it's super fun. I love doing it. I traded with the person that cuts my hair. I have short hair, so I get my hair cut kind of regularly, like 6 weeks or so. That shit gets real expensive. So We traded this series of 10 acupuncture treatments. I now have banked 10 haircuts. I'm on like haircut 4 or something like that. So
That's
maybe
amazing.
6 or 8.
I don't know if I even realized that.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it's so amazing, and it honors both of us. We're both professionals. We just trade time for time. We don't think about like, well, I'm worth $70 an hour, and you're worth $100. No, trade time for time. We honor each other as professionals. I love what you do. You love what I do. Let's trade it up. If the IRS is listening, pretend I never said any of that, because like a service of like barter economy is not supposed to exist because they want to cut.
Fuck that.
But it's just been really.
Yeah.
It feels really good.
Yeah, barter and
really
trade.
good. Yeah.
I love that.
So yeah, what's the thing you're good at? Can you cook a meal? Do you sew? Are you super handy?
Yeah, can you sing?
Can you watch kids?
Can you officiate someone's wedding?
Can you officiate someone's wedding? Totally. There's just so many services that people need that I'm sure you're good at.
Yeah.
So,
well, this is like definitely something that I can't remember. I think there's a website that this exists.
Oh, there might be. If
There
we find
probably
it,
is.
we'll link it.
Yeah, and I hope so. But it is a cool way of thinking of things. Like, and I don't know. I'm so sick of just thinking about having to pay for everything.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, not even from a money perspective, from like a principle perspective. Just like, can't we just help each other out in a way that's not all defined by money?
Right.
So much of this last couple of years for me has been like, I've been frustrated with political shit that's going on. I've been frustrated with like the kind of social things that are happening. And I'm like, why does it frustrate me? And one of the things is that like Donald Trump and like kind of a lot of the fucking stuff that's happening politically that's making me so mad, it's all about money.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, there's some of it's about morality or like, their policy decisions that they want to push through or they're against or for something. Mm-hmm. But so much of it is literally just to keep money in certain people's pockets. Mm-hmm. And I just, oh God, part of me wants to move to that island. There's one, I just heard a thing about it where they just, everything, it's all a barter and trade system or whatever. And it's all based off of like things that they find in the ocean. So I guess it does kind of become money driven, but it's like these pebbles or something. They trade for these pebbles because they're like beautiful, but they don't mean anything really.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and it's not like there's like one guy who has 8 million of these pebbles.
Right.
And it's like Jay-Z.
Right.
It's like no, it's just yeah. Anyways.
What'd you think? You got a bindle?
My bindle. This is kind of a stupid one, but my bindle is YouTube. So.
What do you mean?
Well, so I joined Masterclass recently. Masterclass is like this, it's like Martin Scorsese teaches you how to fucking film a movie.
Oh,
or
yeah.
I might have even talked about this online, but or on the show. But and so it's like all these different like famous people, and so yes, it's pretty cool because like I learned how to like make beats from Timbaland, and I learned how to. I was like watching how to play tennis with Serena, and it cost a certain amount of money. It wasn't that expensive, but it was like $100 and something a year. And then I'm like, dude, fucking YouTube is so great. I think about how much I use YouTube for like how to replace my toilet. Like I put in endless amounts of light fixtures around the house and all these different things. And I just want to celebrate YouTube a little bit. For how much bullshit goes on it, and there's a lot of like, weird racists, that are making you watch them play Minecraft or whatever. I think that it's like there's just something really awesome about it, and it's actually relates to yours a lot, but it's kind of the barter economy. It's like how much the collective intellect do we have with just normal people. I love like my friend who's a plumber but like knows everything about the Spanish-American War or something,
right?
And so it's like to utilize this platform to just teach people about things like you are fucking passionate about and you love about the world or something that you're a hobbyist at, I think is really, really cool. We're using YouTube for our show, and I'd love for more people to watch it because I think like that there's something entertaining about what we do. I think that we're fun to watch, but I also I'm liking to see what I can find on there and how I can learn about things.
Nice.
Yep, and it's free.
It's so free.
Yeah.
I've got one more thing to chat with you guys about. So. We have neglected this section for the past couple of weeks. We've had interviews and such, but we do a segment where Mikey talks about how the South is fucking up on women's reproductive rights.
Yeah.
And then I've been celebrating a state that has actually been preserving women's access to reproductive health services. But one thing that I wanted to shout out is the Institute for Women's Policy Research. So they're people that do a bunch of research and publish said research in order to, with the goal of affecting public policy and affecting change. And there was one that just
Say
came
the name
out.
of it one more time.
Institute for Women's Policy Research.
Okay, yeah.
We can link it.
Yeah.
On the YouTubes. But they just published they call them fact sheets, so they just published one of their fact sheets right at the end of July, and it's called The Economic Effects of Abortion Access, a review of the evidence. So not just looking at abortion access from a women's health perspective, which is really important, but that's where a lot of the research has been focused, but to really look at the economic ripples that happen when women have good access to abortion care.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah, so maybe we'll just link this fact sheet so that you guys that want to nerd out on this stuff can read. But they really found one of the most interesting things was that it had effects on the next generation. Like if these women do then decide to birth kids, that children born to women with abortion access had lower rates of poverty and receipt of public assistance during childhood, primarily due to a reduction in living with single parents, were more likely to graduate college and less likely to be single parents. So it kind of goes on and on.
And this is saying women who had access, like lived in an area where they could have had an abortion,
correct.
Or people who had an abortion?
No, just having the access.
Access, okay, yeah.
Correct.
Huh.
And
there's a lot of variables around that too, because it does say things about where you live too, for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite things about articles is if the sort of citing list is almost longer than the article.
Oh my God, Corinne. We've talked about this a bit on the show, but Corinne is the biggest fucking dork about this sort of stuff. Like she is the rule mindiest person ever.
Oh my God, yeah.
And she would write papers in acupuncture school and would cite, I mean, just everything. Even if, and I don't know, I think I wrote one bibliography and it's like I cited the dictionary. I don't know. You're amazing. I love that. That's your thing.
Well, but I think it's
but it
really,
does show something.
Well, and it's really important, especially when we're trying to change public policy.
Yeah.
So, if I think about acupuncture, the reason why certain pain conditions are now covered is because there was documented research that acupuncture actually works for that stuff.
Totally.
And so I'm really passionate about making sure that what we say has research. And I think, when I started talking about seed cycling, I was like, oh, sheepishly, there's no research on it. But, it is a really important, especially in this space when we're really trying to talk about reproductive health rights. If we have the research there, it's more likely going to promote change.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of people, it's like that really is their barrier.
Sure.
It's like I need to have published research and things that I can trust.
Right.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Not just women should fucking have abortion or access to abortion because it's the law.
Right. Yeah, that's not enough. Yeah. Or it's their bodies.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for listening.
Yeah, you guys, that was really fun. So episode 13.
Yeah.
We're hoping to have lots more episodes. So if you watch us on YouTube, great. But I think most people are finding this on the iTunes.
Mm-hmm.
I would do both. I think they're both great.
Sure.
Even if you just go.
See how cute we are.
Oh my God. I do dress up for this show.
He does. Mikey brought it real strong today.
I'm wearing my cool shirt that I already told you about. Rainbow shirt. Dachshund riding a unicorn that's riding a T-Rex as well. Fucking awesome. I'm also wearing my Christmas hat that has reindeer having sex on it.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Yep, this is one of the positions we've been trying for making a baby. Reindeer doggy style. Reindeer style. Yep. But yeah, so, and if you, however you find us, like us, recommend us to friends, The episodes where we had Crystal on, we got a lot of listens on those and a lot of views because I think she reached out to people. So if you think that there's someone in your life that is going through trying to make a baby, they already have kids, they know the struggles of kind of whatever. Also, we just talk about life a lot on here, I think. And so like if you know a human who's alive, tell them about the show, and maybe they'll get something out of it. And as always, if you have stories or you want to come on the show or any of those things, let's eat at Mikey and Rinne Stay In. LETSEAT at mikeyandrinnestayin.com, and Rinne is RINNE. Should I spell it out again? Just so many letters.
I know it is.
But yeah, let us know. And we're gonna come back next week. I would love to try to line up an interview for next week. I always like to put the pressure on us.
Yeah, I think let's just say we're gonna make it happen.
Okay, we're gonna make an interview happen.
Yeah.
It's gonna be Beyonce and Oprah on the same episode.
Oh my god, I would die.
Holy shit. Yeah, let's just do that episode and then we'll drive off a cliff like Thelma and Louise.
Yes.
Thelma
and Louise.
All right, you guys.
We love you. Thank
love
you so much for
listening.
listening. It really means a lot that you're supporting this tiny little podcast shop that we've got going on
Little
here.
enterprise. I know. So thanks, guys. I'm Mikey.
And I'm Rinne.
And tonight, we're gonna stay in. In.
You really took that.
I did kind of take it. I love you.
Love you.
Love you guys.